Welcome to Miss Taylor's class notes, and today we're going to be talking about inequalities and graphing inequalities. So, we always want our inequalities to be in y equals mx plus b. As long as they're in y equals mx plus b, we find the y-intercept, we find the slope, and we draw our line. Now, what's different for inequalities is this. If it is less than or greater than, less than or equal to, when we draw our line, we are going to draw a dotted line, which means that the points on the line are not solutions. If it is less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, we're going to use a solid line, which means points on the line are solutions. And that's the biggest difference between the two. And then our last big thing we've got to know is that if it's less than or equal to, we are going to shade below the line. If it is greater than or equal to, we're going to shade above the line. And so what this shading means is any possible solution. And our shaded area is also known as our solution set. So that's the set of all of the numbers that are possible and that work. So we're going to have to kind of break this down into a couple of different pieces to start with. So the first thing we always need to do is we need to find our m and we need to find our b. Our b is the constant all by itself, which is -2. Our m, or our slope, is the number in front of the x, or the coefficient. Once we do that, we need to find what our sign is. So if it's less than, if I look at my handy dandy stuff over here, it tells me it's going to be dotted if it's less than, and it means we're going to shade below. So let me get my graphing line where I want it to be so it's easier to see. Okay, so if our b is -2, my first point is going to be at -2 on the y-axis. If my slope is -1, that means I go down 1 and right 2. So down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. So now I'm going to get my straight line out, and instead of drawing a solid line, I'm going to draw a dotted line along that straight edge. So dot, 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 dot. And so that's what we mean right there by a dotted line. And again, the dotted line symbolizes that any point on the line cannot be a solution. And then we're going to shade below. So I'm going to find the y-intercept, and I'm going to shade everything below that y-intercept. And so when we do inequalities, it's always going to ask about possible solutions or the solution set. So solutions are anything, any point in the shaded area, and if it's dotted, we cannot include the line. So I'm going to draw 4 different points that are in the shaded area, and I'm going to write them down as my solutions. Again, it could be any point in the shaded area. I'm just going to pick 4 random ones. So -5, -1, -4, -4, -1, -3, and then 2, -6. So these 4 are all possible solutions because they are all in the shaded area. So now again, we need to find our m, find our b. Our m is what's in front of the x, which is -5/4. Our b is the number all by itself. The negative tells me I'm going to go down and to the right when it's time to graph. So our sign is greater than or equal to. So if I look at my notes up here, greater than or equal to is going to be solid and above. So now I need to draw my line. So we're going to start at -1. Go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes you can only fit 2 dots on there, and so you can make it work with 2. This is going to be a solid straight line, and so it's going to look like that. And because it's solid, my answers can be dots on the line. And so we're going to shade above, so we're going to find the y-intercept, and we're going to go above the y-intercept. And I'm going to do my best to try and get this line in that shaded area, as well as everything else. So this time when I do my solutions, I'm going to include at least 1 dot on the line. Yeah, I might be able to only get these 2 dots. Then I'm going to find 2 other random. Let's do a third random dot. So 0, -1 is a solution. Oh, I wrote -2, but it's -1, and I graphed it correctly. Okay, my brain just short-circuited there for a second. It looks like -2, 1 is a solution. I put -2, 6. I put 4, 4. And then finally 5, -3. And so those are just the ones I picked, but it could be anything in that shaded area. All right, so this equation here is not in y equals mx plus b. So we've got to change it from standard form into slope-intercept form. So we need to subtract our x term to the other side. 3y is greater than -x plus 12. We need to divide by the number in front of y. I'm going to go ahead and split my terms to make this easier and to save room. And then our final step is y is greater than a -1/3 x. Ooh, I forgot to write my x, plus 4. So that makes my m is -1/3, and b is a positive 4. We have greater than, which means it's going to be dotted, and we're going to shade above. So now I get my line out to graph, so positive 4. We're going to go down 1 to the right 3, down 1 to the right 3. And I need a dotted line, so when I get my straight edge, we're going to go dot, 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 dot. Because it's dotted, I am not going to include the points that are on the line in my solutions. And we said we're shading above, so I need to find the y-intercept and shade everything above. So this is a somewhat smaller solution set, so I'm going to pick just 4 points. And so solutions, I picked -2, 6, 0, 5, 3, 5, and 6, 4. All right, so I want you to try to do this one on your own, and I want you to check it with the completed class notes.